is Wynona Dreadfulwater, and I was raised and born around Briggs, and went to Briggs School. Lord have mercy, I bet I don't know, there wasn't very many there, maybe 20, 30 kids maybe. We had to take our lunch in Briggs Spring. We'd take our milk down there if we had milk to take, put in the spring, keep it cold. When Mom and them could afford it, they'd send me little old crackers, bundle of crackers and a can of Viennese sausages. Or she'd make us egg and biscuit sandwich, cold egg. Oh, that's good though. We had a little old dipper for our take class when we want to go down spring and get a drink. We'd carry that dipper with us. We had, let's see, just one big old building that had all 4 classes in it. Each classroom had 2 classes, I think it was, went to the 8th grade. My dad was Zeke Hare and my mother's name was Lucille. I had 3 sisters and 4 brothers. We knew our mom and dad, we knew what was right and what was wrong, and we had to be back on time, or if we wasn't, they'd go looking for us and get a whooping then. We usually they let us, we had friends that stayed all night with us. We just stayed around the house and the yard. That's all we did, because we never was allowed to go. Maybe once in a while they'd let us go to a show in town. We'd look forward to it. That was dime, 10 cents you could get in. We made up games. Somebody one time had a bicycle. We all took turns, a bunch of them gathered up at church ground. We'd all take turns riding the bicycle. But we wasn't supposed to be in that big tabernacle, and we had a red wagon. And all of us used to take turns pushing each other around and around the aisles in that big tabernacle, but we hear somebody coming, we'd run out the back door. Oh, we'd play hopscotch, shoot marbles. We didn't have nothing to play with. We put cans on our feet and had sticks and walked with them on our shoes and stuff.
Just to make noise?
Just to make noise, and well, Mom and them had grapevine trees across the road that we all used to go down there and climb around and swing around. So we just had a lot of fun back then. Then if it rained, the water would run side the road. We'd all take a walk in that water down the road. And sometimes when my dad was living, we'd go swimming. He'd take us down to Eldon and dump us off, and he'd come back and get us 2 hours. That's all we're allowed to go down there, 2 hours. We'd go down Briggs Spring if we couldn't go swimming. It was crazy. We'd jump in that spring and everybody haul water out of it. And we'd hear a truck coming off the hill, you know, they'd haul them out in barrels. We'd hear a truck coming off the hill. Boy, we'd jump out there, take off in the woods and hide until they left. And we had to carry water from Briggs Spring in buckets, me and my brother. Every evening we'd have to carry 2 buckets apiece down there so Mom would have water for the next day. And I had to go help my brothers. They were living that cut wood. We had to go way down part of the woods and saw wood, and them boys just took me just to swing my arms off, I think. They just laughed. But we had to carry wood in our arms back to the house.
Where'd the name Chicken come from? Where'd you get that?
My grandma gave it to me, you know. My mom and dad lived way across the field from her mom and dad, my grandpa and grandma, and Mama took me home from the hospital, and they lived in a log cabin, had little old holes in it, and they just, you know, back in they didn't live very good. And she said when it rained would blow in. And she said that, my grandma said, I guess Winnie's home holding her baby chick, because that said probably got her under a wing because that rain was blowing in the house there. And they stuck with it, called me Chicken. We had a Raleigh man. He carried candy, and he had toe sacks and white liniment, red liniment, all that little junk. And Mom and them would buy off of him if they had the money. She made our clothes. We had panties made out of flour sacks. But we had to, you know, we had to change clothes every time we come in from school, because We've only had about 2 or 3 changes. We got black and white saddle Oxford probably once a year. That's all the shoes we got. But you know, our parents didn't let us starve. Our brothers would go to hunting at night. My brother had an old car. Him and my cousins, then they'd go hunting and shoot rabbits from the road. And if they got a mess, that's what we had for breakfast, rabbit and gravy, and boy, that was a good meal. Grandpa raised his own hogs. We had them. We had a smokehouse where he'd butcher that hog, and he made him a big old wooden box. And he'd buy sacks of salt, you know, salt it down. But the boys would always go fishing. We had fish bought. We had plenty to eat. Of course, you know, coffee then, Mama said, was a dime. Stuff was real cheap because there wasn't. And my grandpa, she said he'd leave early in the morning, go make fence posts for 50 cents a day. It was hard. We survived and we were all healthy, and you know, nobody hardly thought about not sickness as much going on now, because I remember everybody, if somebody was sick, everybody would go to their house and cut wood and take lunch, you know. They all helped one another. And then my mother, she was up here. She finally taught me into trying to learn how to weave. I didn't want to, but I did.
So how old were you when you started weaving?
Shoot, I was probably about 18. I like to do this. I do it when I don't feel bad at all. I like this for my pastime. I used to weave one in one day, but now it probably take me a week to weave one. But I like to do it. I started in on rag rugs. We tore dress tails, you know, strip them up and made rag rugs. And then I got yarn, leftover yarn, I made wall hangers. So then she taught me in making these. The store right here was Master's Grocery back then, and then there was Chafin's Grocery a long time ago. We used to walk there, but we had trails through the woods, you know. My grandpa had a strawberry patch over here where I live, and we'd pick strawberries and we'd make a little money, you know. We'd take our store. Shoot, Cokes was a nickel then. Golly, I'd pick a lot of strawberries. We just make enough go buy pop and get us something and we'd quit. Or pick up pop bottles, you know, they gave you 2 cents a pop bottle then. And I had to stand on milk boxes to wash dishes out of them old dish pans, you know, they had. Boy, it was...
I bet that wasn't very fun, was it?
No, it wasn't very fun, but we made it. I don't know how our old people made it, though. I guess 'cause they had to.